This week on True Bloods, the boys are back. Errol's come over the hill on his horse, and the Swannies have got the dub.
I just can't wait to get into it. It's just incredible, Deebs. Jeez, this is the most one-eyed podcast.
It's what we're here to do. There is only one side in this competition. It's game-changing.
It's absolutely game-changing, Deeble.
Riddle me that,
Yeah,
Mads.
riddle me that, Deeble.
It's what we're here to do. This is True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast, and we are back in the AFL Today Studio to talk about the glorious win over the Port Adelaide Footy Club.
We're back.
The upcoming clash against the Doggies on Friday night and everything else. Sydney Swans, joined as always to my left, Big Clarko. How are you, buddy?
Yes, we're back.
Swannies are back?
We're back.
Is it official?
It's official.
2 in a row's enough for you?
Enough.
Yeah, like
Enough.
it.
I'm good.
Satisfied.
It's not about the finals. I don't want to have to say it again. It's about the way you go about it. That's always been the request that we have of this football club, Deebs.
That's right.
Is that we play Bloods footy, right? And you've got journos sinking their boots in saying it's the great downfall. It's the great collapse at Rivals, the 1929 stock market crash. The Sydney Swans just going from 2 grand finals in 3 years to a full and complete rebuild, according to some journos. But we're back now, Deebs.
Yeah.
And all it takes, it's funny when you add the best players on your list back into the equation. Isn't it funny that it changes the whole structure and confidence of the team, Deebs?
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious for mine.
For yours.
Lads, but riddle me this.
Riddle me that.
It's bloody amazing that you've got a wingman who has been All-Australian 2 years in a row, coming back on a horse over the Adelaide Hill, executing on his left foot, and we're a better side. You've got the skipper who's played 10 games in 2 years, back with a little bit of continuity in his game, Mads.
That's right.
And we're playing better. You've got a focal point in your forward line, although we can't kick straight. It structures you up, and you're better. It's just, I actually can't understand how people just didn't give that enough credit.
On it. They slept on it, Deebs.
During, the first 16 weeks of this year.
Well, because you got Essendon in the same position.
Yep.
Right? You got the Western Bulldogs in a similar position. And whether it's just because we're Sydney and they don't talk about us and they don't want to sort of think about that, or they just don't know enough about us and they don't know the impact that taking out a Justin McInerney for 3 weeks does.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what we thought would happen is happening. It's as simple as that.
It was just so obvious from the first ball up, wasn't it? The
Correct.
first bounce, we were like, oh my God, look at this intent.
Mate, it was McInerney.
Yeah.
It was McInerney and Lizard, Mills, Heaney, all of them, first bounce, they're all there, cracking in like we haven't seen them crack in this year.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
It's the old, you walk taller with the better players beside you, isn't it?
I didn't even believe that necessarily to be true.
Yeah.
Right? I actually didn't. And I was like, hang on a minute. It's true.
It's what we've seen. I think,
with Papley out there as well.
100%. And although I think if you pull apart Paps' stats, they don't scream the house down to a dominant game, right?
Hey, it was never going to.
But that's not what we need. When you actually dig a little deeper into what actually happened in the eye test, Mads, you got to go back to the eye test sometimes. Just that ability to hit up at the footy, lead, take marks. He didn't quite take his opportunities, but that connection piece going inside 50 perhaps just added so much to that.
You just hit the nail on the head.
I love to do that. Big nail hitting guy.
Yes.
On the head guy.
How do you hit a lot of those?
No, very rarely.
No, very rarely, I'd imagine.
Rarely.
Connection piece, Deebs.
Yes.
The connection piece is the key statistic, the key metric, Deebs, that we look at here, because we are such a better side with an Errol Goulden. And you got a Tom Papley, who, while he would be considered a small forward, for mine, Deebs,
For yours?
he's a key forward.
Well, if you
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He takes the second best defender.
Well, Mads, this is what people don't read into either, is Papley was our number one player hit on the lead last year.
Correct.
In a grand final year, he was the number one targeted player on the lead.
Now Thomas Papley has had 5 inside 50 and 3 score involvements, but he looked likely every time he got near it.
He did.
And that's all you're looking. I knew he was never going to shoot lights out. I knew none of them were ever going to shoot the lights out. Really, you need continuity. Anybody needs continuity. I don't care whether you played 300 games or you played 3 games. You need to work back into it.
Yeah.
And I thought Papley did that. I thought his delivery inside 50 was sharp. He's had 5 of them, right? We're on our way. We have the pieces now. And lo and behold, our list hasn't changed much since last year. And we started to play the sort of football that we were playing last year.
Yeah, for sure.
And there are guys not even playing to the level that they should be.
Yeah, for sure. And like the injury list comes out today. You've got Foxy with his concussion still. I think he's a test to play this week.
Mm-hmm.
You got Taylor Adams, who played a few games last year, 4 to 7 weeks, whatever's going on with that calf. And that's it from last year's team, who, came in, and both of those guys in and out of that side last year. But as we said last week, there's no excuses now. But at the same time, that game on the weekend, although not efficient enough in front of goals, that is how we want to play.
But that comes because the thing that's been cooked about us all year, Deebs, is the system and the structure.
That's right.
That's been absolutely impossible to watch all year. Let's be honest. That was a completely different team.
Yeah, and you could just see the way things were trying to get done, and I think we executed our skills so well. One of the huge stats to come out of the weekend was only 43 changes of possession within the whole game directly from our side. So we were able. It's hard to get that stat across correctly. I don't know how to say it right, but so 43 times. I think we turned the ball over.
Okay, so we had 43 turnovers. Is
Yep.
that what you're saying as a team?
I don't know if that's the exact stat. Right?
Is this a champion data shit fight?
I don't know if it was a champion data to be honest, but it is the second lowest since recordings in the last 10 years.
Yeah, right.
So that retention of footy, we just didn't give Port an absolute sniff.
No, but we didn't all game. We said that. We said that to each other. We said we won the territory and we had possession of the ball the whole game.
Yeah.
The whole game. We just couldn't finish our work. But that will come faithful. Now, Deebs.
Yes.
Tell me about Callum Mills.
Is he the cleanest footballer we've ever seen?
He's the cleanest captain I've ever seen, for mine, Deebs.
For yours.
See, with Mills included, we start to work out this narrative, right? And I'm going to bring in Angus Sheldrick into this conversation, okay?
I like this.
Because Angus Sheldrick, I barely noticed him on the weekend.
Yep.
But he did his job.
For sure.
Played his role. And do you know what that allows?
What does that allow?
That allows Callum Mills to do his thing off half back because we're winning the ball in the middle. You got Heaney in the middle. You got Sheldrick in the middle. You got Rowbottom in the middle. You got Errol coming in. You got Chad coming in. Right? Mills can be the general of half back. You got McInerney outside. So we've got the class outside now.
Yeah.
You got McInerney. You got Goulden. You got Jordan in there doing the dirty work. But you got Mills anchoring everything. There was this calmness around Mills being at half back whenever he had the ball, and he was just setting up the structure up the ground like we haven't seen all year.
For sure. And sort of obviously some pretty big selection things going on at the moment. Jake Lloyd gets dropped for the first time in 10 years, goes back to the VFL, has 38 touches. I'm sure we'll hear from Catsy later on. But he's made his way out of the side. Oflo's been out of this side for nearly a month now, right? It gets back to, is the balance of this side just a whole lot better, and everyone's sort of finding their way. And, Wixie's back in. Rampy's playing some good footy. Harry Cunningham's back, right? And that's, releasing the players like the Lizard to run through the middle and create as they need to. They don't feel as defensively responsible with some of these senior guys back in.
And Malikan as well.
Correct.
And it's this domino effect that flows on throughout the whole team.
Yeah. It's the confidence of this side who have played so much footy together. We're talking like between 80 and 120 games, right? These guys have all put together. You look at your Ollie Florence, who played 150 consecutive games, right? And that just speaks to, I don't know, we've been following the Swans like we have been for the last 8 years very closely now. And you think, I still sort of think of Florent as like a young player, right? He's not young anymore. He's 27.
Fucking veteran, Deebs.
Right?
Yeah.
And they've just played so much footy together. They're going to start to get the continuity, and just the way we played on the weekend just fills you with confidence.
It does.
We can turn it around. And does that mean we go and on an absolute tear and win every game for the rest of the year? I don't know, but I think they're going to give themselves every chance to be able to go on a bit of a run here and, cause some damage in the back end of this season.
I'm pretty confident we win the flag. I want to roll through a couple of players. So, Haynes, when no one could kick a goal, and I mean no one, let's not just leave this on Joel Amarty's shoulders, okay? No one could kick a goal.
Yeah.
No one could kick a goal in that first half of football, except Isaac Heaney.
Yeah.
He's kicked 2 snags. He's kicked a critical snag around the corner and one off turnover, which was phenomenal. He's had 4 tackles. He's had 6 score involvements. And his ability to win the ball in tight and how clean he was, we've noticed that Heaney's been probably not as clean as we would know him to be. He was so clean on the weekend, Deebs.
Yeah, perfect footy conditions over there as well. That sort of Saturday afternoon, bit of sun around, and the clean ball handling was a real asset to what we showed on the weekend. And we've been lacking that. And just I think when you get players like McInerney, Mills, Heaney, the Chad was good in close, all these guys, your high quality players all together, and the ball handling's on point, it makes every difference to your transition going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I just, for Joel to get 8 looks at the big sticks, although 100% not good enough, we may as well dive into it now.
Yeah.
The ability to get 8 looks at it, that's half the battle.
Mate, look at it. You watch the game, right? I was watching it with you. The Rising Sun Hotel. We just look so much better.
Yeah.
Going forward, we just look so much better. Now, if we lose that game, it is an unmitigated disaster, and I would have smashed my face in with this laptop.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, if we had lost that game, I don't think there would have been a worse loss that we've been covering the Swannies in that time.
Yeah.
But
we were that dominant.
We were that dominant.
It did not even matter.
No, it did not even matter. And so this is out of his system now. And it's up to the club to wrap their arms around him. And I mean, you heard them. They were joking about it after the game. Imagine how hard it would be, Deebs, after the 3rd miss. Imagine the voices in your head. Imagine the negative self-talk in your head that you would. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're, again, a veteran or a first gamer. After you've missed sort of 3 in a row.
Yeah.
It's you just need a new day at that point.
You do. But I do take a little bit of positive in that he didn't try and start biting off silly kicks looking for someone, right?
Absolutely.
Kept backing himself in. And I reckon 1 or 2 of the 8 shots that he had
sitters
he shanked.
Yep.
Right? They were off the side of the boot. But I think generally, right, that the 6 shots he had, and sort of Lloydie went through this on the on the Sunday footy show.
Well, I was going to say, you won a flag in the sort of junior levels. Can you take me through his sort of run up and ball drop
Yeah,
now?
I'm not going to run you through Joel's. I could run you through mine, Madison Clark. I was a dead-eye dick back in the day. But we'll stick on Joel Armani, the pirate. Arr.
Yarr.
Right? I just think he had his line up wrong, and he was running his ball drop and his what do you call it when you're walking in? His approach was completely offline, and he wasn't kicking the ball that bad. It was all in the alignment.
What do we love, Deebs?
Scoreboard impact.
Scoreboard impact, but we love when we see reasons for things going wrong.
Correct.
Then, because you know what you can do then?
You can rectify it.
You can rectify it, Deebs.
Yeah.
Which we love.
We love that.
Big rectification pod.
But the hysteria from the Swannies faithful in regards to Joel Armati.
But like, you shouldn't call him the pirate. Did you leave his patch on?
I like that. That was a lot of people just taking
gear.
the piss.
It's
We're
good gear.
a big piss taking pod, Madison Clark. But the hysteria around he should be dropped. That's what he gets paid to do. Like that's it. That's his job. Like it's. You don't think he was trying? Have you ever gone to work and not quite been able to get something right? And should you have just lost your job because you couldn't kick straight? You know what I mean? He was trying so hard, and that's probably half the battle, right? You're in your own head. It's the mental demons. But this rhetoric, drop him back to the twos, right? Oh, yeah, who's going to step up and have 15 touches, 10 grabs, 8 shots a goal? Who's going to step?
It was 9 shots a goal.
Yeah.
He could have had one of the biggest days ever.
And you know what? I'm a big stats-driven guy.
You are. You're a real numbers guy.
Right? Joel Armati has kicked 84 goals, 64 behind.
It's pretty accurate, Deebs.
That is going at 60%. The AFL average is 57% from set shots. Right?
He's above average, faithful.
He's above average. And the more shots you have, the more those numbers are going to even out. Right? It's just you got to stick fat by these guys.
It's a numbers game, Deebs.
It is. It's not as if he's been a bad kick his whole career. I just the kickback on him personally and his position in the side and, drop him and bring someone else in. There is no one sitting in our VFL who can do what Joel Armati did on the weekend.
No, that's correct.
No one. So just stop saying stupid stuff like that online if you don't have a fix.
That's right.
Like, if you're going to drop someone, you got to bring someone in. And I just don't think we've seen Joel was out for the last month of footy. How did that forward line structure up?
That's absolutely
Not
right.
too well.
Not well.
Comes back in. We have one of the most dominant games that we've had all year, and the expected score was so far in our favour. We should have won by, I think it was 64 points if we took, the average amount of chances that are normally taken week to week.
Yeah, if you want to look at changes you can make to your team, look elsewhere other than Armati, I would suggest. Hey, can I tell you about someone else who I think had a really good game?
Who?
Dean Cox.
Yes.
Thought he had a really good game, and I think a lot of what our man, friend of the show, Kurt, said about how we were going to beat them did come to fruition in a great deal, because we did make Connor Rozee accountable. We did lower our eyes going forward. I mean, Asava was pretty good in the first quarter, but fundamentally we did our best to keep the ball away from him. Having a Lear not there was a phenomenal help. But also you got Zach Butters at halftime with 21 of the best. Now, he's a top 10 player, Deebs, for mine.
For yours?
He's a top 10 player in the competition. Would you agree?
He's definitely trends that way.
Yep. James Jordan, the padlock, the new padlock 2.0 was sent to him at halftime. This is about being dynamic and being malleable in the way you coach during the game, Deebs.
For sure.
And he locked in on him, and he had 7 for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And they were of no concern or impact.
Absolutely. How he still got a coach's vote was an absolute disgrace. I hope it wasn't.
Well, he had a big first half.
Yeah, the half of footy doesn't get your coach's votes, in my
I wouldn't
opinion.
have thought.
But I loved the intent going in, right? It was a bit of The old David King, don't get beaten by what you know.
You don't get beaten by
Jared.
what you know, Jared.
That's right. And we put JJ to Rosie in that first half because he smoked us, less than 2 months
It's
ago,
hard
right?
to tag someone off halfback.
Yeah, it is. But we did it well the week before, right? So, and just the ability of the coaches to see the numbers, see what Butters was doing in the middle. JJ goes through him nearly halfway through that second quarter, I think it was, when he already had sort of 17 or 18 on the board. And for him to be a non-factor in that second half, he's a huge weapon to be able to have at your disposal
100%.
to be able to take out the opposition's best player when they're, going so well.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. The calls for, is Coxie the right man? I love him on the bench, Deebs. I really like him on the bench. I want that to remain a thing.
Yeah, look, I think there's a little bit of space for both. I think he does need to be able to see the game open up from above as well. But
who's up there? Leon Cameron?
Leon Cameron's up there. Yeah. You've got
Mark
Buchanan's, Mark McVeigh's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good vibes.
Yeah.
Good energy.
Love it.
But we just – the overreactions are what get me.
It is.
We're not a big reaction pod. We like to sort of take things as they come, but it's never as good as it seems and it's never as bad as it seems, Dave.
Yeah, I think you've just got to really, when you're going with big, bold statements – you got to look at the whole picture to what's going on. And that's what I try to do a lot. And
the reasons why things are happening.
Exactly right. And just that huge overall piece. And if you can sort of put your finger on a few things, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater all the time. It's, Joel Amati's kicking. Amati. That's an outlier. That's one bad day at the office,
it's
right?
It's the exception to the rule, not the rule.
Exactly right. And just I could not believe that the kickback from Swan supporters. It was really, I'm taken aback by it.
Joel needs to learn how to kick. He knows how to kick. He just temporarily forgot.
And yet, mate,
you get the yips. The yips are a real thing. The yips are a real thing.
The skills at work, right? People like to compare it. Saw it so many times. He's getting paid to do a job, right? Whereas you compare it to your job, and do you make mistakes at work, Mads?
Hey, Faithful, you come into an undisclosed Big Four bank on any given day, I reckon there's 80% of the people there not doing their job.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're getting paid. They're getting paid every day.
Few mistakes being made daily?
There are entire teams and departments devoted to mistakes being made.
For sure.
That's why they put erasers on the end of pencils, Faithful, because mistakes get made.
That's right.
Okay. Joel will be fine. Let's not throw the baby out of with the bathwater.
Yeah, and you back your guys in.
Yeah, back them in, Faithful.
You got to. It's just people love the negative narrative and getting into someone and say they want to get
the boots in.
Oh, and we just try and turn it around a little bit here.
How are these idiot podcasters going to put a positive spin on this one?
They have to, though. Still got the result. Positive.
Positive.
If you don't win that game, negative.
How many marks, Deebs?
Lots. Can't even count that high. How many did he have? It's got to be a lot. He's had 8.
That's productive.
Yeah.
Not efficient, but productive.
That's right. And just having bulk blokes in form is what's going to win your footy games. Put out a post last night, Mads, Brodie Grundy. I think he should nearly be in All-Australian.
Well, I was going to say, how long have we gone for? 23 minutes and we haven't even mentioned Brodie Grundy, mate. Because if you're not talking about him in All-Australian selection conversations, you've got rocks in your head.
Yeah.
He's not. If you look at the season he's putting together, it's not even about the hit-outs, which he 9 times out of 10 dominates. It's a work around the ball. It's a clearances. 6 clearances, Deebs.
I know. 6
more than most midfielders. He's another midfielder.
Clearances, 5 or 6 tackles a game. He's impacting with being, I think his marking game's been a lot better the last month as well.
Yep.
It's
he's an option, a genuine option down the line
down
now.
the line with that dumb kick that has to happen from time to time. Mads, he's providing and contesting it as good as any, and I just think he's got to be in this conversation. I sort of compared numbers from him to Darcy Cameron, right? He's one that's getting thrown around, and as a pure ruckman, smoking him, and then Gawn and Sherry are sort of on par. I think Sherry's dropped a little bit off in this last 4 weeks, and Gawn is still going as good as he ever has. But the work of BG in this last 6 weeks has been phenomenal. The boys know that they're getting first use. You saw Haynes talk about it post game. It's definitely a huge asset to have. He's a ruckman in form.
Hey, and even when we've lost, we've still dominated in hit-outs and clearance. And now we're getting more contested ball thanks largely to Grundy and Heaney. And now you got Goulden back.
Yeah.
It's massive, Deebs.
It is. It is, mate.
Territory game. Plus 10 inside 50s. Plus 5 marks inside 50s. These are the key metrics, Deebs.
Yeah. And just
it's a completely different ball game now, mate.
The ability to just possess the ball, and you've got the skillful players to hit within game and, pull off that kick that not many can pull off, Although Errol's only had the 18 touches, he had his times and his moments where we're like, Errol's back. It was the perfect game back, and there you can see the system implemented with probably a little bit more balance than what we saw last year. I think last year it was a bit reliant on the power to run and carry and find that target inside 50 and rely on it a little bit too much. I think we're a lot more balanced with that, the contested game, the clearance game, and just the overall player that we've got going around. I just think they've been built up in a more balanced and versatile way.
Yep. I agree. How much, but just going back to Mills, how much better do we look coming when the ball goes down there? I'm just so much calmer knowing that he's down there pulling the strings.
You know where there isn't a stat at your favourite champion data?
Sure, where's that?
It's in a statistic that doesn't get measured. So it's decision making. How many do you get right? How many do you get wrong? There's no stat on that, but I tell you what, Millsy gets it right so much more than he doesn't. And the cleanliness by hands, he's called the Rolls Royce on this pod for a reason.
But he hasn't missed a beat. He hasn't played footy in 2 years, Deebs, and he hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, the doubters.
And people hate
the doubters. Where you at?
Where you at? Yo, where you at? Yo. What the hell?
Still don't want him as your captain? Where you at?
What the Rakelly?
what the hell?
What the hell, Burton?
Oh, Achilles. Hate to see it.
Christ, it ruined. Oh, my God, it ruined Game 7. Grim stuff.
What the hell?
What the hell?
But you know what's not the hell? Our form. We're back.
We're back,
Swannies
baby.
Are back. It's exciting. There's there's contests for spots now, selections.
Hey, how much better do the Rezzies look?
Huge win in the Rezzies, come from behind. Southport, second on the ladder. We've beaten both the grand final sides who played last year for our 2 wins this year. I think that'll turn around and, blokes, I think we sort of touched on it last week, is just the ability for these guys going back to the twos to actually try find some form, because you've actually got a semi-decent team in there with, not 9 of your number 1 selected 23 that play every week, not available via injury. It's funny what that does and how the domino effect goes down to the lower levels too, and we win both games. It's the thought, Mads.
Perish the thought,
Perish
Deebs.
the thought, Mads. I'll tell you what. There's some reporters.
There's some receipts
for certain networks that would be praying, fingers crossed, toes crossed, that the Swannies don't go on a tear.
There's a lot of people praying the
there
Swannies
are
don't go on a
receipts.
tear.
And they're endless, and I think they'll be starting to get a little bit nervous, Clarko.
Do you know how many reels I've got saved?
Yeah.
It's good.
I think the boys are going to pull through. But
I'm pretty confident
time
we
will
win a
tell.
flag. Yeah.
Very good, buddy.
It was just good to watch.
It was.
Frustrating.
It was.
Frustrating, but overall, and I probably wasn't as frustrated as other people watching that because I'm like, there was no way we were really losing that.
It was the brand we played.
It was the system. It was the brand. It's Marbo. It's the vibe.
You could just see it. We were not giving them the ball. They maybe had one or two good passages of play, where they moved it freely. But
hey, and just on them, they may be, sort of rabble like we were, right? That's still a very good football team with a very competent midfield, very competent back six. Sans Aaliyah not being there.
Yeah.
Georgiada's kicked, 7 the week before?
Yeah.
Tom McCartan.
Blanket.
Very good.
Blanket.
Squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean.
Oh, yes. It's just, it's
good feeling.
Bloods footy is more enjoyable when
the aura. The aura's back.
It is. I'm telling you, it's back.
You'd hate for us to go on a tear.
You would hate it. Oh, my.
You'd hate it. You'd hate to meet us in September.
Who wants to play us in the back end of the year?
Nah,
Put your hand
no
up.
one.
Put your hand up.
No one.
I'm looking around.
Yep.
I cannot see one side in the competition that wants to play us.
Name one team that wants to play us. You can't.
You can't. Very good, Clarko. That just about wraps us up. Let's get into the socials.
Welcome back to True Bloods.
The truest bloods.
Yes.
Yes.
It's just good to be back.
It is. Back-to-back dubs.
Riser was really busy on the weekend, which was fantastic. That was a really, really enjoyable atmosphere. I think that's something that's just going to build and build and build as we go on this absolute tear. So thanks for everyone for coming down. That was fantastic.
It was.
Hey, Kurt is back on your speak pipes. I wasn't sure if he was going to put something through because he's a diehard Port man. He's a diehard Port man. And, this year hasn't been – the whole bloody Ken Hinkley era has been we've had it pretty bad, but at least we've been in with a shot.
Yeah, probably the most comparable side to us and what we go through is Port Adelaide making so many prelim finals, just haven't quite made it to that last Saturday in September. So we can definitely, what's the word where you are?
We can empathise, sympathise.
Yep. Yeah.
Neither of them.
Convene with?
Convene with.
Is that the right, where you relate to each other?
That would be, so we can relate to them or we can sympathise or empathise.
Yes, empathise is what I reckon
I reckon
for.
you're after empathise.
But look,
you looked at me like I was an idiot. I'm like,
no. I knew we were talking through it.
We're big sort of break things down pod.
Exactly right. We're a big education pod. I love learning. Been a busy day at work. It's been a busy week. And I haven't quite had time to get the thesaurus out.
It's
alrighty.
It's good gear. This is my favourite podcast.
Self-proclaimed number one podcast in Australia. So we do love it, but we might hear from the great Curtis.
Yes, let's go.
Because we're big on your speak pipes. Great new platform. We are all about adding to this show.
The feedback has it's a little bit quiet on the recording, but I think that'll be resolved. Yeah, it's going to be resolved.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up from producer.
W's in the chat from the producer.
From producer Alessi.
Like 100%. So
W's in the chat, baby.
All right, very good. We've got Kurt here. Here we go.
Madison, David, Kurt here, your Port Adelaide friend. I was really looking forward to and wanting to come on this show again and ask the question, how are these two idiot Sydney Swans podcasters going to put a positive spin on this one? But luckily you don't have to. The boys have done the heavy lifting for you. Basically played out, as I said, Nick Blake, if you're running through the middle of the ground and kicking a goal, Haney would look good kicking goals. And Errol off that half-back line. I mean, it just looks right again, doesn't it, for you boys? So thank you for ruining my weekend, my year, my football season. I really appreciate that. I'm not happy that I did any of this, so I won't be doing it again. So this is a hello and a goodbye from me. But best of luck, or whatever. I don't even care about the football anymore. It's not that important. I'll probably just go and work on something else now. I don't know, maybe my relationship with my father or something else more important. But yeah, well done.
Yeah, very, very good from Kurt.
Very good gear, Curtly. Well done.
So
Very good stuff.
a lot of these reactions were from post game.
Yeah, let's have a few.
Yeah.
Gimme
Gimme.
Give me that.
Got Big Nick here. Here we go, coming through.
Boys. Nick from Wagga here. Gritty win. That's all I'll say against Port. Papley, so good to have a bit of forward pressure. But geez, did the Pirate, Marty, did he keep the eye patch on or what? One of the best games for no goals, but man, could have been an 80-point win. Up the Bloods, up the potty.
That's what makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
What it could have been.
Yeah.
What it will be when we face other teams.
When all facets of the game are just executed slightly better. It doesn't even have to be. You can't expect. You got to be realistic with your expectations, right? You can't expect them to kick every single set shot goal, right? But can you be kicking 1 goal 10 from set shots? Absolutely not.
The one
and
out
you
in-
can bake them for that, right? Say it's not good enough. But you back them in to go again and get it done. You don't just kick them to the curb and say, I'm done with you. That's the difference.
The one directly in front was cooked.
Oh, man.
Cooked.
Yeah, even Radagalier was sort of laughing. Like, he's like, I'm getting torn up here, but, that doesn't look like it on the scoreboard, does it? We've got James here.
Jimmy.
Mads, Deeble, the faithful. It's James from Bristol here. I'm starting a campaign. Starting today. I'm sick of this Gorn chat, sick of this Sherry chat. There is one All-Australian ruckman this year, and it's Brodie Grundy. I want to hear some respect put on that man's name. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, that is what he means to me. Brodie Grundy, let's go.
Yeah, very good.
Well, he's just been enormous for us. The criticism was that he wasn't taking many contested marks. Now, I don't know what his contested mark numbers would be per se.
Per se, Matt.
Per se, Deebs. But he's a target down the line and he's marking him down the line.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we need.
For sure.
He's doing the sort of Max Gawn type role.
He's just getting a lot more of the pill too, and being that contested player in tight. He's just doing that a lot better than he was at the start of the season as well.
Very hairy man.
He's just the grey beard assassin. It's big Brodie Grundy. We've got Sammy from Sydney. Here we go.
Sammy, you need to be more specific.
Now I know what you're thinking. This round was supposed to be Errol, Goulden, and Tommy Papley and Joel Lamani going crazy on Port Adelaide. But no, it was the red-headed rebel, the general in defence, the devious defender, the man, the myth, the legend, the Callum Mills, Captain Callum. He was massive in defence. And another shout-out to the guy with the grey beard, the guy with the red scrunchie, the big tall guy with one sock up and one sock down, the man, the myth, the legend, Brodie Grundy. Huge day in the ruck. A lot of clearances too for the big man. And obviously, probably the guy that won us the game. He's always up there to save our skin. Whether it be his right foot or his left foot curling around the body to kick a much-needed goal when we really couldn't kick straight at all that day. I'm, of course, talking about Isaac Heaney. How bloody good. The blonde-haired hottie. Ho. He is good. And we are so back. Up the Bloods, up the potty.
We are back.
Boys
We're definitely back. Boys are back. Well done, Sammy.
Well done, Sammy. Shout out, brother. Hope you're well. We might go, really, minute 20, you're pushing it, Faithful. Unless you're pulling through.
We just got to win, D-Bulls.
I know.
Come on, mate.
Just tying it up slightly.
Nah, come on. Let's. Hey, they've let their standard slip. Let's let our standard slip.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's go with Glenn Nice 38-seconder. See? Glenn, great work, son. Here we go.
Mads, Deebs, faithful, Glenn from Lennox Head here. Can we just take a moment to drool over that left foot snap for goal from Isaac Heaney in the fourth quarter? Everyone else was kicking like they'd been on winner's piss before the match. Then he steps up with that piece of class. Can I tell you, I've been a happily married man for 15 years, but that goal stirred some emotions up inside of me. I almost needed a cigarette afterwards. Anyway, great contested ball first rate, full ground defence excellent, ball movement coming back. Let's go. Up the Bloods, up the potty.
Yeah, very good, Glenn. It was an epic reaction. I love how it was just like a high floater and, you know, going outside the post and then just curled back perfectly.
Have you watched it? Have you watched the replay of the game?
Not the full replay, a couple of minis.
It's good because we were responsible on Saturday night and actually went home at a reasonable hour, which is fantastic. W's in the chat. I have watched it.
Yep.
And the commentary was fascinating around that kick because they were sort of saying, you know, oh, it's going to be tough if he kicks a drop punt. Then they realised he was going to go around the corner on the left, which we all called. Yeah. Big Phil called very, very early that he was going to go around the corner on the left. The way he was holding it, you just knew. You just knew he'd done that many times before. Yeah. And Dermot was like, ooh. Yeah. When it came off the boot, he's like, that is something special.
It's a classy player executing his skills, isn't it? Absolutely. We've got Mitchie Charles.
Oh, Footy Finds.
Footyfinds.com.
An ode to the doubters. For 14 rounds, the Bloods look lost. Every loss coming at a cost. The injuries mounted and suspensions came. The opposition's run they struggled to tame. Lazy Journo's ass is Big Cox the man for the role, and have the Bloods lost their soul? After last year's heroics, they copped it from pillar to post. The fickle supporters dished it out the most. But the True Bloods stuck fat, it's all we know. Incremental uplift and seeing our youngsters grow. The return of attack from turnovers, so lovely to see. If only we'd kick straight, we'd win by 63. The return of the cavalry. Pirate Errol and Paps. The Rolls Royce off halfback, fuck, he slaps. Lloyd and Ollie in the Magoos, competitions for spots. Imagine the result if the Pirate nailed his shots. Too reliant on its stars, the journos say. Or maybe an extensive injury list came into play. Write the Bloods off at your own peril. We've seen this before. As September draws nearer, we'll be knocking on the door.
Very good.
Oh, got chills, Deebs.
Very good. It's... Oof. You know what that is? That's just an English teacher getting to work. You know?
Good boy, Mitchie.
Well done, buddy.
Footyfinds.com.au. I don't think he has a website. Find him on Instagram.
Find him on your Instagrams.
Pragmaticthinking.com.
What other one have I got on here? We might go with this quick one here. Short and sharp.
I love you, Errol. Go Ponies.
Just short and sharp from Geordie Islet there. Up the Bloods, up the potty.
Oh, yes, Cyril.
And to round us out, we've got Father.
No, hold on. But you've missed surely Phil from Picton's in there.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, let's go Bernard, and then we'll finish on Phil.
Sure.
Mads, Deebs, Faithful, Bernie from Janjuk. First time, long time. I'm dad of Cyril from Baronia. We're back. Great win and a good hit out, especially for Errol, Paps and the Pirate. He just needs to get his kicking boots on. Millsy was super and Harry cool under pressure. And a gutsy move from Coxie with Jake Lloyd going back to the twos. Come on, boys. Big one next week. Up the Bloods, up the potty.
Very good.
And Phil from Picton.
Yeah, well done.
Mads, Deebs, Polly and Faithful. It's Phil from Picton here, basking in the warm glow of our first consecutive victories since round 4 in this all too tumultuous 2025 season. And wasn't it fantastic? Wasn't it glorious? Wasn't it just a fraction predictable that as soon as we get something resembling our best side on the park, it was an immediate return to good old-fashioned Bloods footy. At times, it was like it never left. We were watching the same all-conquering side from the 2024 regular season. And we can only hope that this is a start of a glorious winning streak to carry us into the top 8. But at the same time, boys, it is my duty to deliver a bold take, as bold, you may say, as the drive-by I delivered to our man Deeble just a fortnight ago. But we may need to reassess the nickname The Pirate for Joel R. Marty. He seems to have taken this moniker a little bit too literally, as he clearly had a patch over both eyes while lining up for goal on Saturday. Huge fortnight coming up against the Dogs and Dockers. Up the potty, up the Bloods.
Oh, what do you think with the
No.
having to reconsider the Pirate?
We're not reconsidering
Come
the Pirate.
on, Phil.
No, it's good stuff.
It
Phil.
is, it's great.
Hey, I did a Ask the Faithful.
Yes.
And I just wanted to, so I did the photo of Darren Creswell after kicking that goal.
I thought he would have been smacking his knee back in.
Yeah, no, that was actually our first viral video.
Yes.
Viral video. Now, the reason I did that, I remember it clearly because I was in year 8 after that happened, and my science teacher was period 1 on the Monday morning, and that was Saturday night, and he was a big North Melbourne supporter.
Big North guy.
And he had told me that they were going to pump us the week before. And I remember those ones where you're quite young, but you remember it vividly. I remember walking on with the biggest shit-eating grin on my face, and we had to discuss it. We discussed it as a class, which was great.
Is that a bit
was
of
enormous.
Wayne Schwass in the background?
That is Wayne Schwass in the background. That is right. Blood superstar Wayne Schwass. But yeah, that was a ripper. Got a free kick from Motlop, I think, and it was barely there. And he kicked the snag. It was a lead. Good. What's your favourite regular season
game?
Just one that we came back or was tense, or I would have thought you would have had one ready to go, but maybe not.
Mate's a busy boy today. Don't go whacking me about the old social question, big fella. Normally it's me putting it on my shoulders.
I was waiting for that.
Bloody hell. Bloody hell, how's the drive?
Yes.
We would have one to go. Bloody hell. One of my most enjoyable ones was that game in 2021 against the Tigers.
The Tigers was a good one.
On the MCG.
Sunny
Not expected
Saturday
to
afternoon.
win.
Beautiful.
That's it. Got a nice tan on in the AFL members that day, Clarko. But yeah, that was one of my favourite regular season games that comes back. The emergence of Chad Warner. It was phenomenal.
I was at the Gary Rowan game behind the. It was very similar to the game against Collingwood.
Yes. That was a ripper.
Yeah, it was an absolute ripper.
That was a ripper.
Absolute ripper.
The ones where
the ones where you're gone for all money.
We tend to believe in most scenarios that we can come back, or you hold on to that little bit of just belief.
Well, it's because it's happened so many times.
It's happened so many times.
I'm just going to scroll through and see. So there's a few ones going back a little bit. John Fleming for mine.
For yours.
One of the best matches I can remember being at was round 6 in 1996, the Bombers at the SCG.
Yep.
It was a 90-all thriller, 22 points down at three-quarter time, and kicked 6 goals in the final term to get a draw. Felt like a win, and was one of those games that set us up for the premiership tilt that year. Tony Lockett, 8 goals. Enough said, geez.
Well, what did he give a round then?
Yeah, round 6.
Round 6, sure.
So
they played in the prelim.
They certainly did.
Very similar.
Certainly did.
Nearly went that way, didn't it? I got Craig Broom over here. He says too many to remember, but Mickey O's games come to mind. I would assume he's going with the West Coast games.
Yeah, that's interesting because I actually said regular season, so people need to.
They were close during the season as well.
Yeah, but did he have a big one there? I thought that was a quali.
Yeah, they're definitely some in finals as well. We played them so regularly, and then that round 23 game in 2019 with Macca and Kieran Jack's last game, the last 2 minutes, they both kicked the goal in that game, and the highlights still get Big Craig going.
Yeah, phenomenal.
There's a lot of guys really going back into the archives.
Yeah, it's good.
You got another one there, mate?
Yeah,
you would have
Sean
had one ready to go.
Short road for
yours.
mine, lad. The win at the SCG last year against the Cats, where the mighty Chad went bang bang and sent those pussy cats home.
Yeah, very good. And Vicky Hallam, he's like, I'm quite partial to Errol Goulden's goal against the Pies in August last year at the SCG. The assist from Grundy, the snap from Goulden, and look on the Collingwood player's face when we got in front within the last few minutes.
It was pretty
I
good.
never get tired of watching
It was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was phenomenal.
It was one of the great nights for you and I, mate. It was one of the great nights.
It's not too often that we've really cracked the sads, right? We had cracked it. Like we were kicking the ground.
We were individually cracking it as well. You're off. I remember. I look over. There's you just watching the game by yourself.
Yeah, few seats separation. That's what we tend to do sometimes when we get a little bit narky. But
it's very funny.
So good.
Barry Hall. This from Matterhern. Barry Hall after the siren versus Brisbane round 3, 2005, Deebs.
Yeah,
came back from 5 goals down at 3/4 time against the formidable Lions. Probably the only time in history that a team has been behind from first siren to final siren and yet win the game. Phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal, Clarko. Just incredible. That just about
it's just been incredible.
It's just been incredible, mate. But the Faithful's incredible.
We love the Faithful.
Through on your speak pipes.
We love the speak pipes.
Like the creative nous there from Mitchy Cluck, the English teacher. People know him for his vintage clothing, but, when he gets and puts pen to paper, that's his trade.
That's
his
trade.
That's like me executing keys on the daily, right? Just precision from Mitchy Charles, and we love that. And who's our regular contributor?
Phil from Picton.
No, Phil, who's been creative in the past couple of weeks.
Redfern.
Jake from Redfern.
Jake from Redfern.
That's right. So, no Jakey this week, but I like that too.
No,
it doesn't have to be an every week thing.
Do not saturate it. If it's not happening, it's not happening.
You know what Jake's done there? He's read the room. And that's
he's allowed space for others to contribute.
To grow.
He hasn't been me. I'm Jake from effing Redfern. I run True Bloods. No, he's gone, it's Sam's turn.
That's right.
It's Bernard Islet's turn.
Correct.
And we love that.
You know what we are here at True Bloods?
What's that,
we are
Deebs?
a big personal development pod. Right? You can well-rounded pod. Big personal development pod, and we're just about making the Faithful into more entertaining people.
Right.
So that's
what
the
we're here to do.
area of PD that we are working into. Big personal development pod, and the incremental uplift from the Faithful has been amazing. And I just hope it rubs off on the general Swans fan base. Because I think there's some work to do there.
We'll have to give that song by Wazza a play at some stage.
For sure. We might send that through to producer Alessi and see how we go. But that about wraps us up. Clark, let's get into this big Friday night clash against the Doggies.
Do you know what I miss, Deebs?
What's that, Mads?
I miss those authentic American-style pickles from my times in the States.
Well, Mads, don't get yourself in a pickle. Delicious are sponsoring the pod this month. They are a proudly family-owned and run business committed to bringing you the best-tasting pickles for your picnic, platters and pantries. The owner, Jimmy, is a huge Bloods guy.
Yeah, but are they Australian-made ingredients, Deebs?
Yes, Mads.
Are they seriously crunchy?
Absolutely, Mads.
Are they sneakily healthy and simply delicious?
Yes, they are.
Well, Deebs, that sounds bloody sensational. Head on over to delicious.com.au and get yourself some pickles.
Welcome back to True Bloods.
It's good to be here with you, Deeble.
Always a pleasure, Clarko, even when I'm getting drive-bys by. If it's not, everyone on your speak pipes, it's the fellow co-host. But you know what? I need that.
We all need it. We all need it. Accountability.
Is that second to availability?
Only.
Or maybe third.
In terms of the best ability.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. The most important ability is availability.
So second
is accountability.
We're going to go with accountability. Yep. For sure. And it's a nice little leveler. You can get in your own little worldie when you're hosting the number one podcast in Australia.
For instance, if you can, while I'm telling this quick story, Deebs, if you can pull up who had the crack about my shoulders.
Oh, where was that?
Was it on a YouTube short?
There was a YouTube comment. I sent it to you.
Let me be clear. I love when people have a crack at me. But the funny thing about it is it's one of the – and there are a few things I really like about my body, and there's a few things that I really like, and my shoulders is actually one of them.
Quite broad.
Yeah, I actually think they're quite like I'm a skinny guy. I get that. But I'm actually pretty comfortable with my shoulders.
Oh my God.
I actually think they're quite decent. So I thought it was a funny thing and I do tend to wear oversized clothes. I'm quite cool like that, Deebs. I'm really quite cool.
You definitely fashion wise, I wouldn't say I'm uncool, but trend wise and what's going on generally, probably not my strong point.
You were wearing skinny jeans for a lot longer than you probably should have been. I reckon.
But look at
but that's but
you know what?
You've got the calves for it.
Yeah, but that's my problem. Normal regular jeans are skinny jeans on me, so I'll have to take you jeans shopping with me, Clarko. It's an absolute nightmare. So we've filled time for a minute 32 minutes there, and I'm still struggling to find this comment. But maybe it was to you personally. I'm looking. See, I don't. Like to, what's the right word?
Air dirty laundry in public.
In the public. So I went to, the direct thing and I said, you're a bit,
dude, please feel free to roast
here it is. I got it.
Please roast
I've just
me.
found it.
Good.
So this comes from Stewie's Camping Adventures. Stewie's
Visit them today.
So I think he might have his own YouTube. So jump over there and like and subscribe because this is Stewie from Cairns. I'm sure he's a ripper.
Sure.
But he says, "Hey Mads." So talking to you directly, Big Clarko. He says, when are you going to get some shoulders to fit that green shirt? I mean, are those shoulders having a spell in the Magoos? He's like, nah, just jokes. You look buff, mate. Deebs, share some shoulders to the big boy. Big Shoulders Pod, Stewie from Cairns.
It's actually one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Oh, ripping
I really
Stew.
like it.
And get over to Stewie's Camping Adventures and give him a like on his
It's not
socials.
often that you roast the host of a podcast and then get a free plug.
Yeah,
so there you go. I hope you enjoy that, Stewie.
Very good. But Clarko, Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night
Bulldogs.
against the Dogs. Now, this was the corresponding game last year where things started to really fall apart for us.
Correct.
Started to really fall apart for us, and they match up with us well. And I think you and I have been on the same wavelength with how we feel about the Dogs this year. They've really impressed us with the way that they've been able to carry themselves with a lot of injuries.
For sure.
They've had Sam Darcy out.
Yes.
Who, for mine, is going to be one of the best, if not the best player in the league in a very short space of time.
For yours, I absolutely agree.
And Cody Waitman, as much as I can't stand him with the dropping of his shoulder and knees, he's an important player that they've had out.
Yeah.
Now, they've been languishing a little bit, but yeah, with Sam Darcy back and Aaron Norton, that's going to wreak havoc for our forwards, Deebs.
Yeah, I just think their best is very, very good. I'm talking top 4 in this comp.
Yep.
When they get going, they're a scary outfit, but inconsistencies in their game are as fluid as many other teams as well. That's definitely prevalent, the inconsistencies in their game when it shows on their ladder position, even though I think they may have worked their way into the bottom end of the 8 at the moment with some other teams with teams in hand, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Big game for, just off the top, Brodie Grundy.
For sure.
Against English. Yep.
Should we hear from Catsy and just see how the Magoos went?
See if there's going to be any ins and outs.
Ins and outs who could potentially come back in. We'll hear from the great
I'm
man.
looking forward to this.
Mads, Deebs, faithful. Happy to say that the Magoos pulled off a stunning 6-point win at Frank Hauser Reserve in Southport. If you don't mind, the boys were 44 points down at one stage with one hell of a mission, not seen since John Connor sent his best mate into the past to say a more than friendly g'day to his mum. The boys rallied through the best on-ground efforts by the recently dropped Jake Lloyd to hunt down the Sharks in the final quarter and provide a hell of a morale booster. Jake can hold his head high in how he handled the week. No sooking, no carry-on or quivering of the bottom lip. Just a comprehensive response that should see him back in the ones to face the Dogs. Caden Cleary was clear in second best, showing he ain't far away from the fray, with Ollie Florent providing some needed polish and Joel Hamling and Jack Buller providing some quality targets up front, with Jesse Totoli also kicking a few snags, building his brand as the weeks progress. Whilst on the announcement train, Max King, our academy prospect, has made his debut, showing that he is someone to keep an eye on, faithful, as we enter the draft later in the year. Riak Andrew also made a return with a snag to boot, but we'll see into proceedings as the weeks roll on. He's still warming into it after injury. Another quiet week for Sid as he battles through to find consistency, and disappointing to see Will Green back into the shell this week after showing some ticker in the last round. Saundo's man, Neddy Bowman, continues to languish in mediocrity, showing that he's probably just not at the level. This week, we meet the Dogs at the Tramway as a precursor to the Ones. That'll do. Up the potty, up the Bloods.
Very good. So, yeah, Lloydie goes back and dominates, 38 of the best. I think
could easily sook it up, couldn't you?
You could.
You could easily sook it up, Faithful, when he hasn't. There's a lot of he's polarising, and I find it strange that he's so polarising. I get that his form was down, and that was correct, right? And it was correct that he got dropped. It was ballsy from Coxie to drop him.
I wouldn't even say form was lingering with Lloydie. Probably just not to the hefty heights that he has reached in the past.
Yeah, well, you set yourself.
I think it came down to team balance.
Yeah, you set a standard. Yeah, it's about the particular team that you're playing, right?
Correct.
At the end of the day.
Correct. Well, we sort of look at if Lloyd was to come back, who knows? With the performance, even though it was only 19 points on the weekend that we won by, I think it reads a lot stronger than that. And I don't think we're probably going to see too many changes. Lloyd is a possibility, and probably Oflo's the only other possibility. He's been solid since going back to the twos. You don't know who's pulled up sore. I think you do start to get a little bit of that this time of year.
There's also a lot of illness going around as well.
You know, you might see some things from exactly right. Illness, a few sore players. I think we got through unscathed on the weekend, which was nice. But
geez, it looked like Papley got injured, didn't it?
Yeah, look done.
God, that was cooked.
Has Papley got a little bit of the Nick Blakey's about him?
A little bit of the Nick Blakey, a little bit of I'm dead. My career's over.
Lizard, gone.
Over. Lizard, gone. Papley, gone.
Came back on, looked fine, didn't even, rub his leg for good luck. But Bicey started as the sub, no real impact. Game was sort of over once he had come on. Francis was the one who made way, didn't really impact.
He was almost there though. If you kick that snag, you look at his game a lot differently.
Yeah,
the way he presents and takes mark. Like how was that mark he took, or was it the spoil? I think he did both. But he went back with the flight and didn't infringe.
Took a good grab there. Yep. But, you got the two other big talls in McLean and Francis.
Yes.
Not overly impacting the game. Maybe there's some structural change up there, not too sure. But other than that, it's pretty solid. Robbo comes back into the side, plays his role. Errol, another game into him. You can't really see too many changes to this side, and Jake Lloyd, if he didn't make his way back in, would be pretty stiff.
Yeah, it would be pretty stiff.
But
who does he go?
Yeah, it's what is he come back into the side? Someone else goes sub, Bicey out. I think Bicey maybe makes way just in terms.
Spell. It doesn't really matter.
No, you can see Bicey coming back and impacting. If he tears up the twos like. Lloyd is done. Maybe that's the call. You can play around with that sub position. There are a few options, Clarko.
They are a few options. Deebs, the key to the game for mine.
For yours.
Is, that mark that the Power took inside 50? Was it Georgiadis who took it? That someone wasn't standing in the hole?
Yes, it was.
It was Georgiadis, wasn't it? That cannot happen with Norton and Darcy.
Yeah, it's the one structural flaw that we saw,
yes.
Executed on.
And now we have the back six currently to ensure that Blakey and Rampy, I reckon the other one's Rampy, can play the intercept role and can get in that hole.
Yeah.
Because one-on-one, you're not going to beat Darcy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're just not.
Yeah.
Norton's beatable. Darcy with that height and that vertical leap, bloody hard to do.
Couldn't agree more. It's a lot of the delivery inside 50, as we know. Clarko is on the pressure on those mids, and we can't let them free flow in and get Darcy some really good looks. And that back six has got to be spot on with the structures. As long as as the midfield's working defensively, those wingers getting back to help, it's going to be a real team effort, stopping that forward entry, just walking inside that defensive 50.
I also reckon our transition game's key.
Yeah.
I reckon if we can stretch the Dogs laterally, if we can use the whole ground, we can beat them, because it goes back to what we were saying before. Having that back six nice and settled with experienced heads in their correct positions in the back six allows for there to be a lot of run and gun and slingshot.
For sure.
Because you don't want to, it's going to be a scrap in the middle, an absolute scrap.
Yeah.
Libba, Bont, Warner, Rowbottom.
Yeah.
Going to be an absolute scrap.
For sure. You've got Ed Richards, number one player in the comp in terms of champion data. You've got Matthew Kennedy's really sort of turned the leaf in terms of hurting teams offensively as well.
What a pickup.
Yeah, hasn't he just flourished in the new side? You've seen Bailey Dale dominate games off half back. We can't let him just have 40 and be the distributor.
Do you send James Jordan there, Deebs?
It's got to be a mid, in my opinion, for mine.
For yours.
You've got you never really see the Bont get a hard tag.
But the Bont, it's because the Bont can just go forward and kick three.
I know. He's had 36 and 3, been phenomenal since he's come back.
See, if I was the Dogs, I'd be sending the Bont down forward.
To the square.
Up forward, sorry.
Up forward.
Well, because you can't, they're probably then too tall, but you can't defend all of that.
Yeah, I'm with you, but look, I think we've seen Ed Richards really do a number on us before, and he was lucky he got injured in that game last year where he got going. Maybe he's the one that JJ goes to. Maybe it's Bailey Dale off halfback.
I prefer a midfielder to if you're going to have a role on someone, have someone that at stoppage you can just stand on.
Yeah.
And you can get assistance from other people. It's just a bit, with how quickly the game moves, it's harder off halfback, I think.
Yeah, but you were a big fan of it a couple of weeks ago against Richmond.
Against Richmond I was.
And Jordan gets forward, kicks those goals, makes them accountable the other way.
Yeah.
So that's something that can be used.
This one, I just think
it's a mid. I tend to agree. That's where you look, and you don't want to be at the same time, JJ, you're playing on him, then him, then him.
No.
You know what I mean? He needs a role, clear, concise, build for it all week.
Yep.
And then, there's maybe room for one adjustment during game like the weekend.
Yeah, the knock on the Dogs is they've only had, I think, one win against top 8 sides.
Yeah.
That's a knock on the Dogs.
For sure.
The equation is going to remain very simple for us for the next 10 weeks, Deebs. And we simply must win.
That's right.
It's simply, we're back here, faithful. We're back. We're back here again. Simply must win.
That's right.
Simply must win every week.
That's right.
That's the equation.
Yeah, it's handy Treloar coming out of the side. But, we've reeled off the names. We've got to win that midfield battle. Errol's got to get to work. Chad's got to get to work. Slightly down on the weekend, Chad. He hasn't had his 20-odd. He's only had the 17, had the chance to finish a goal. Chad's the guy who could rock up Friday night footy. Haynes, keep it going. Millsy, the skipper. They've got plenty of things to worry about too, faithful. So, don't get scared off by the big names of the doggies. Yeah. Sorry for keeping you up, mate.
Sorry, mate. No, it's phenomenal. You can quieten down, Alessi. I think we're primed here to make a real statement.
Yeah.
A dead set statement because it's Friday night footy. It's the SCG. we string a few. Do we string a few games at home together?
Well, we haven't played there once again in 27 days or something like that.
Sure.
So, who have we got next week? I don't think so. I would love it to be consistent SCG footy because there's nothing better, especially some Friday night footy.
Friday night footy. I'm just having a quick squeeze. Sorry about this.
No, all good, buddy. But yeah, look, it's
Yeah, we got SCG, Marvel, SCG. 3 out of the next 4 at the SCG.
That's why you're cooking the chook.
Cooking this chook, faithful. I'm delirious.
Did you just get a bit American there?
Yes.
Honest?
I've been American the whole time, Deebs. Let's be honest. I am really excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited that I know in my heart of hearts that we're back.
Yeah.
Please don't make me look like an idiot this weekend.
But once again, Mads, it's all in the method. We saw it straight away. It's all in the system. We've seen how well it can execute, and hopefully that flows on. Swannies by how far, Clarko?
Swannies by 15 points.
Loving that, mate. I would love to see the Swannies.
Who are you inviting to the party?
Oh, party invitation.
Yeah, just before you give us the margin, party.
Great question. I'm inviting the Chad.
The Chad. Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome
to
Chad.
the party, Chad.
Welcome.
There's a few doozies out for you post.
Just quickly.
Post Friday night.
Loving Sam Wicks.
Yeah. Just getting it done.
The back six is elite.
Yeah. It's great guys who can just be given a job and execute on it.
Yeah. I'm inviting Tom McCartan. I reckon he's got his work cut out for him.
For sure.
If he can, that's how we win the game.
Yep.
It's one of those games that it's not about what you do, it's about what you stop because their forward line, it's potent.
It is. And they tend to kick big scores.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Swannies by how far, mate?
Yeah, Swannies are 19 points.
Let's go into the tipping.
Thursday, we've got Port v Carlton.
Ooh,
Adelaide Oval.
Wow.
Carlton lose. Vossi gone?
Nah. I think Vossi sees out his tenure.
Yeah. Don't get influenced by the big bud.
No,
interesting.
The big bud wants him sacked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't get influenced by him.
That's big call.
Yeah.
They just sack too many coaches.
Well, Carlton's done it all before, right?
Yeah.
Swannies win on Friday night. Saturday, we've got the Gold Coast versus Melbourne.
Gold Coast.
People's first. Gold Coast. Down in Tassie, we've got the Hawks and the Roo Boys.
Hawks.
Upset? Roos? Don't mind it down in Tassie?
Don't mind it.
Oh, Alessi, she's got the side eye at me. Not happy, but that could be the upset.
Could be.
We've got Collingwood at Marvel Stadium. Geez, the fans will be in an uproar.
We're actually opting out of going to Marvel. We're opting out of opening round. In fact, we don't want to do Anzac Day this year. We're opting out. W's in the chat.
Nah, Wussy Boys.
Wussy Boys.
Going with Wussy Boys.
Wussy Boys. And Nick again, Nick Dacos, you're a wussy boy, Dad. Windhager won't let me get free running the ball. Get him off me. I should have had 7 free kicks. Josh, give me the ball. Wussy boy. Wussy boy.
I reckon Nick Dacos should be wow, that was fantastic, Clarko. Yeah, I reckon Nick Dacos should be paying Marcus Windhager's fine.
Yep.
That's how wussy that was. That was
pathetic.
An open palm, and he went down like he was shot.
Pathetic.
Yep.
Hope you lose. You won't, though. Hope you lose.
Pies get it done against the West Coast. We'll see. Sunday, we've got Richmond and the Adelaide Crows at the MCG.
Adelaide.
And the Grenache Aries back 5-10. We've got Freo and St Kilda.
What a waste of 2.5 hours.
For sure. And this should be hopefully the last bye round.
Yeah, thank God. They've got to fix this.
What is with the overlapping fixtures?
If you're going to have buys.
2 games.
If you're going to have buys, you can't overlap. You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
It's a joke, isn't it?
It's a joke. Hey, has this been True Bloods?
This has been True Bloods. Yep, you're done, mate. Put a fork
done.
in you.
Put a
You
fork
are
in.
well done. You are a steak that should not be eaten. So this has been True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast. Number one in your hearts, number one in the charts, speaking words of wisdom, up the potty.